sketch graphs of exponential functions. Okay, I think you have learned this before. Right? Y is equal to a to the power of x. Okay, if a is between 0 and 1. Okay, for example, if a is 0.5, then 0.5 squared, right, is 0.25. Okay, 0.5, let's say to the power of 4 is an even smaller number, right? 0.5 to the power of, let's say, 100 is going to be a very, very small number. Okay. However, 0.5 to the power of negative 1, it's 2. Right? 0.5 to a very negative number, right? It's actually going to be a very large number because it's 1 over 0.5 to that positive value. Okay, so for this function, its behavior is when x is larger and larger, the y value is going to be smaller and smaller. Right? However, it will never be smaller than 0. Okay? For example, 0.3 to the power of like a million. It's still a positive number. It's very, very small, but it's never smaller than 0. And it's never equal to 0. Okay, this value is always positive. Okay, so it's a decreasing function. Okay, but it will never be smaller or equal to 0. And when x is 0, right, a to the power of 0 is just 1. Right, so we have a point here. Okay, then it's a decreasing function. Okay. Then the opposite behavior is when a is greater than 1. Right, then it's the complete opposite. Right, for example, 2 to the power of x. When x is larger and larger, this will be larger and larger. When x is smaller and smaller, right? Let's say 2 to the power of negative 1,000. Okay, it's going to be a very small number, 0.000 something. Okay, it's going to be a very small number. But again, it will never be 0, and it will never be smaller than 0. Okay, so this will be the graph. Okay, then we have 4 different questions. When a is 1.001. Okay, when a is 1.001. Okay, now a is larger than 1, right? When a is pi, right? Pi is 3.414. Pi is 3.14, so it's larger than it's larger than it's larger than 1. Okay, but here it's x to negative infinity. Okay, and 0.31, 0.37, okay, it's smaller than 1, but greater than 0. Okay, and 181. Okay, x is approaching negative infinity. Okay. So now we can just get the solution based on the graph, right? When a is between 0 and 1, when x is larger and larger, you can see the trend. Right? It's going to be closer and closer to 0, but never exactly 0. So this answer is 0. Okay, when a is greater than 1, right? A is greater than 1. When x is larger and larger, right? The value of the function is going to increase without an upper bound, right? So this answer is positive infinity. Okay, when x is approaching negative infinity, you can see now it's getting smaller and smaller, but it will always be positive, right? So this part is also 0. Okay, and 181, okay, it doesn't matter as long as it's greater than 1, the limit is also 0 when x is approaching negative infinity. Okay. Do you have any questions for this part?